Are you a space enthusiast who's interested in the science and technology of space exploration? Then, this video is for you. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're exploring one of the most iconic sites in space exploration, the Kennedy Space Center. Located in Orlando, on Florida's Space Coast, this incredible facility has been at the forefront of space travel since the 1960s. In today's video, we'll explore the fascinating attractions it offers and some unique insights into its history and contributions to space exploration. Whether you're a space enthusiast or just looking for a unique day trip, there's so much to discover here. But before we get started, we request you to subscribe to our channel. This will help us bring more such videos to you. The Kennedy Space Center is NASA's primary launch center for human spaceflight. Located on the Merritt Island in Orlando, it spans about 140,000 acres and is a gateway to the stars. Since its establishment in 1962, the Kennedy Space Center has played a pivotal role in America's space missions. The Kennedy Space Center has a rich history. Established in 1962 as the Launch Operations Center, it was renamed in 1967 in honor of President John F. Kennedy, who famously committed the United States to landing a man on the moon. The center played a pivotal role during the Apollo missions, notably Apollo 11, which landed the first humans on the moon in 1969. Since then, it has supported numerous missions, including the setting up of the International Space Station, launch of the Pioneer and Voyager probes to outer planets of the solar system, the Space Shuttle program, and currently is getting ready to serve as the launch site for NASA's Artemis missions to return humans to the moon. Getting to the Kennedy Space Center is easy. If you're flying in, the nearest major airport is Orlando International Airport. From there, you can rent a car or take a shuttle. Once you arrive, make your way to the visitor complex, where most of the attractions are located. You'll need a whole day to see some of the important things, such as Apollo or Saturn V Center, Rocket Garden, Space Shuttle Atlantis, Shuttle Launch Experience, Kennedy Space Center Bus Tour, and if you are lucky, you could get to meet a NASA astronaut. It might even be good if you plan a 2-day trip, since there is so much to see and experience. Let's now start our visit with a quick tour of the Rocket Garden. This outdoor exhibit features a collection of historic rockets. Each rocket has a plaque with detailed information, giving you an insight into its mission and history. You can walk among these giants, including the Mercury Redstone 3, which launched astronaut Alan Shepard, the first American in space. The next important thing that you've got to visit is the Atlantis exhibit. The actual space shuttle Atlantis, the fourth space shuttle ever built, is displayed here as if it's in flight. The Atlantis flew 33 missions to space. You can go inside the shuttle and experience what it would have been for the astronauts who flew to space in it. The first mission of Space Shuttle Atlantis was in October 1985. The Atlantis flew its last mission in 2011 and has been on display in Kennedy Space Center since then. You can also explore over 60 interactive exhibits about the NASA Space Shuttle's history and technology. These exhibits will give you an idea of how the astronauts lived in the Space Shuttle during its various missions. And you should not miss the immersive shuttle launch experience, simulating what it was like to launch into space. This is an 8.5-minute simulation, and you'll experience what it is like to launch into space. One of the best ways to see all the important places is through the Kennedy Space Center bus tour. This guided tour takes you behind the scenes to see the launch pads, the vehicle assembly building, and the historic Apollo Saturn V Center. You'll learn fascinating facts about the missions that took place here and get a close-up look at the launch infrastructure. The next place you must visit is the Apollo Saturn V Center. It houses the massive Saturn V rocket, which carried the Apollo astronauts to the Moon. Watching the launch of the behemoth Saturn V rocket from the control center at Kennedy Space Center during the Apollo launches is truly awesome. The center also showcases the vehicle that carried the astronauts from the launch center to the rocket. This is the van in which the astronauts traveled before they were launched to the moon. There is also a simulation of the exact course of the launch of the Apollo missions. You can get a feel of what it would have been if you were sitting in the control center during the actual launch. The center also showcases exhibits about the Apollo program, such as suits worn by the astronauts, their shoes, helmets, a model of the lander and the moon rover, etc. And there is an exhibit of a piece of a moon rock that you can touch. This is a piece of moon rock that was collected by the Apollo 17 mission and was formed 3.7 billion years ago. Wow, the great feeling that you are touching a real piece of the moon is something that should be experienced. After visiting the Apollo Center, don't forget to check out the IMAX Theater, where you can watch films of the moon launches, astronauts working on the moon, and even hear the astronauts talking about their moon missions. And if you're lucky, you might catch an astronaut encounter where you can meet a real astronaut, hear their stories, and ask questions. You can also take a photo with the astronaut. Another place that you should visit is the Heroes and Legends exhibition. This exhibition honors the pioneering astronauts of the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. It features immersive displays and tells the stories of these courageous individuals. The final place you should see is the Mars Exploration Exhibit. If you are interested in knowing more about the missions sent to Mars and the plans being made to send a manned mission to the Mars in the future, then this site would interest you. The Mars Exploration Exhibit gives insights into NASA's plans for exploring the Red Planet, featuring models of rovers and current missions. The Kennedy Space Center is unique for several reasons. It's the launch site for every crewed U.S. spaceflight since the 1960s, making it a historic landmark in space exploration. The center also plays a significant role in fostering partnerships with private companies like SpaceX, leading the way for commercial space travel. SpaceX and Boeing are key partners in launching missions to the International Space Station. The Kennedy Space Center is not just about rockets. It's also home to diverse wildlife and ecosystems, with over 140,000 acres of protected land, including the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge. If you are planning to visit the Kennedy Space Center, here are a few tips for your visit. Plan ahead. Check the KSC website for ticket prices and any special events happening during your visit. If you are planning a one-day tour, then arrive early and start your visit as soon as the complex opens. Ensure that you wear comfortable shoes, as there's a lot of walking involved. It might be easier if you carry water and snacks with you, although there are on-site cafes where you can enjoy a meal. And don't forget your camera. There are plenty of photo ops. The Kennedy Space Center is not just a place for space enthusiasts. It's a destination for anyone interested in exploration and innovation. Whether you're standing in the shadow of a towering rocket or listening to an astronaut's incredible journey, the experience is sure to inspire. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the Kennedy Space Center. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.